Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, so today I start my new position as a staff accountant, which is really a big deal for me, just because, again, I have been seeking a step up in my career, and I haven't been able to achieve that, right? So I want to be clear, a tax specialist is something completely different in a way than a staff accountant, right? Obviously, you guys know that I've been in school for my accounting degree, right? I've been on top of my studies. In terms of accounting, doing all of the footwork kind of on my own, ensuring that I can elevate and gain the certifications necessary to keep my what I'm doing current. In my last position, all I did was tax, and I barely did tax returns. I told you guys this all the time. And it's very interesting how, meeting with this new employer and them kind of seeing what it is that I do. And they're like, yo, they're setting you up to be an administrator. They're setting you up to, not fail, but to be like, to never grow. And I think what was going on is that the intent behind the previous employer was to get me to be content with not growing. Something I've always stated in my interviews is growth is important to me. I'm very intelligent. So if you're not challenging me in an intellectual way, I get bored, right? I get frustrated, right? I get it does something to me as a person. And so to know that, and obviously things that have transpired, definitely confirmed that I was in a dead end position, right? A position that essentially was going nowhere. And I appreciate knowing that. I appreciate being given an opportunity that I feel like I'm well deserving of, considering the level of expertise that I have. For those of you guys who don't know, uh, my position puts me a little bit above like a bookkeeper or a junior accountant. I am a staff accountant now, which is a big deal because apparently what I'm learning is that when you want to climb the ladder in this industry, and this is the industry I wanted to get in, right? That, to be fair, um, when you're climbing the ladder to this industry, there are certain levels that you have to be able to achieve, if not higher. Obviously, I noticed my degree is kind of holding me back a little bit. So the EA route makes sense just because I don't have that degree just yet. But I am still going to be solely focused on my business as well. Like I told you guys, I have been looking up, business credit, how to get funding, stuff like that. So by this time next year, as long as I am taking care of all the things that I need to take care of financially, I'm expecting to have a much wider, not wider, but more skill sets. Obviously, that's number one, because I will be doing different kinds of work. The work I'll be doing for this company is more in line with the work that I already do. I just think that it's going to be more extensive. That's what it sounds like. And I really hate calling myself a staff accountant because technically I would be like a tax accountant. The only difference is I don't have the certifications to really claim that tax accounting title. But that's essentially what I kind of know I will be. So I'll settle for the staff accountant. That's totally fine. Like, that's better than where I was, right? So I'm excited. A part of me is a little nervous, because again, I just went through what I felt like was not the best experience. And so a part of me is very like hesitant starting this job. I will say that I'm really grateful for all of my friends because they're the ones who are like, no, this is like, not just that it's a blessing because you got a job right away. Like that part, I had already settled with the idea that I wouldn't have a job, for a little while. And so that part wasn't it. I think the way that everything kind of flowed, it all kind of flowed together. I think that was more of a reason why people are like, no, take this position. It's a good thing that you have this position, and just recognizing that God has my back, bro. Um, I really didn't deserve what happened in that last position at all. I didn't deserve how I was treated at all. And I understand that it was time for me to leave, right? There are no, for me, I don't have bitter feelings for leaving as much as I'm like, I will never work for that company again, right? They've kind of left the door open to where, like I said, if I grow, which I know I'm a grow, and I'm a grow at a rapid pace because I'm hungry, that's the thing. Um, it's almost like how things happened was done so that if they ever need me again, they can come back and say, you know what, you've grown. We do need you in this space. And that's like, that's never going to be an option for me. Right. Understandably on paper, everything was, I left on, because of due to lack of work. But I also know there's more to that. Right. And I know that there was more involved, more people involved. And so for me, it's like, yeah, I mean, I appreciate what you did in terms of like, not writing anything stupid or saying anything stupid. But at the end of the day, my experience there, I was miserable. Again, I could easily see that I wasn't going anywhere. Whereas the position that I've been given, and even now, I haven't done any work really, quote unquote, to be what they're putting me in the position as. Like normally you start off as an accountant and you kind of work your way up that way. But again, me coming into this industry already with certain skill sets, apparently that's put me in a position where folks are like, no, you can do this, right? I'm confident that with the training we give you, you're going to be able to flourish and grow with this company. Again, I don't know how long I'm gonna stay with the company, right? I'm really not interested in taking 10 years to grow anything. Okay. I'm not. By then I will be 45 and nah, right? Unless there's retirement at 50 or 55 or something like that, right? So I am not really interested. And again, I'm still learning the industry. So realistically, I don't know like time frames. I didn't know that there was, you got to kind of work your way up. But apparently my position is set up so like it's set up for me to become a manager. Does that make sense? So in accounting, you have to do these steps, to grow and to become VP of accounting or something like that. And so this is where I probably should have been from day one, not in tax. I think because I came from H&R Block, I was like, you know what, tax is the way to go. That's what I want to do. But ultimately, my entire foundation is built around all of the skill sets. So what I'll be doing now, I really don't know. We've talked about it. Obviously, he's gone over some questions with me and I answered them accordingly. But I know that it's accounting and tax, right? I know that I'm going to be doing, bookkeeping and tax. And I know this to be true for a fact. And so this is, like I said, I needed this at a much higher level because I'm sure that there are things that I have not learned yet, right? Because I've not encountered certain situations as it relates to bookkeeping, as it relates to accounting, and even as it relates to tax. I have just not had enough exposure yet to be able to come across certain things. Obviously, my EA is a part of me being hired, which is, hey, I'll give you this downtime so that you can study. I'm still going to study because I have tools on my own to be able to study. So I'm excited that I'm with an employer that off the rip is like, bro, you've got a career. We're talking about growth. Where can we go from here? And then obviously the goal would be to help me kind of figure out where I want to settle in. Like, not that I'm doing all of it, but maybe doing some of it. I don't think that that's a good way for me personally. I think the idea of like the CPA route where you're doing accounting and tax, I don't want to specify in either or. I want to be able to do it all. And so the staff accounting position is very good for someone who wants to do it all. Obviously, as I get older, maybe I'll figure out which I would prefer, whether it's tax or accounting. But my training, my mentorship was set up for me to understand that I can make the most money doing everything. Now, that's not necessarily true, which I'm finding out depending on the niche, right? You can make 10 times more money, stuff like that. But for me right now, I think this is a good stepping stone to get exactly where I want to be, if that makes sense. I'm a millennial, so we'll see, in the next year what it's looking like, in the next, year and a half, what's kind of, what things are kind of looking like, if I make it that far. But I'm excited because I feel like it's growth. I'm scared, right? Because of my previous experience, but I'm also scared because I'm like, okay, this is the real deal type, so I've got a lot of thoughts and emotions, but I'm super excited today, y'all. Don't have much time to talk, but I just kind of wanted to check in. I have not updated any of my platforms with my new company, and that's due to I want my severance pay, right? I don't want anyone to get the idea that I've gotten a job. I did get a job, and it's a better position than what I was in, a lot better in terms of, again, it's more growth, it's more responsibility, it's more opportunity. This position can lead to so many different things that I can be doing. And again, when you have an employer from the get-go that is like, hey, I need you to grow, I want you to make money, stuff like that, and understands that money is very much a part of what we do. Like, I'm not here to babysit I want to make money, right? Whether that's for the firm or for myself. I want to make money. I want to be the best that I can be. And it's very interesting to me because I feel like this past year, I've been held back. I've been intentionally held back. And what that reason is for, I have no idea. Right. But I'm glad that somebody saw my value. And what it's taught me is to not change myself for other people. Again, the conversation of, oh, well, you need to change how other people perceive you. I can't fucking control how people perceive me, bro. I can only be me. And if the intent is to misunderstand me, then you're going to fucking misunderstand me. If you want to try to understand me, you're going to do things that show that you're trying to understand what it is that I need, where I'm coming from, stuff like that. Just as I do the same for everybody else. And so something that I've learned is I was right. See, that's the beauty of all this is my intuition, something I'm realizing I have developed and learned to listen to, is very real. And the things that I was thinking, the things that I was coming on YouTube and saying was very real. So that in itself tells me that I trust me and that I have developed in such a way to where trusting myself, I'd much rather trust myself than anybody else. Anybody else. Not saying that I don't trust some people or whatever, but I know that for the most part now, my intuition is pretty spot on. If I'm feel and my emotions are, and to be honest with you guys, they're like alerts to what's going on. A lot of times I'm hit with the emotion first before I even know really what's going on. I just know this is why I'm upset. And then obviously I go back and process it to ensure, like, am I tripping? Am I not tripping? And when I was younger, a lot of people made me question that. Like, if my mind is saying, nah, this ain't right, but I got somebody over here saying, no, you're wrong, I would begin to question myself, which put me in so many bad situations, right? The fact that when this man sat around and he said what he said, and I'm looking at him like, okay, and then he decides to let me go, but I'm like, fine, like that's cool, like with a smile at that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I'm trying to tell you now, I've never handled a situation like that the way that I did. And I'm super, super proud of myself. It tells me that I've grown so much. I'm grateful for the support that I've had. People, no, like this is not the right, you got this. Like, keep going. Like, stay focused, keep your eyes on the prize, right? And I'm telling you now, when God has a plan for your life, can't no man stop that shit. So meaning that I think they thought they were stopping the show, right? That's why he kept asking me, do you have any plans for your life? Like, that to me is so insulting, because everybody knows I have plans for my life, but whatever, let him be who he is. That's part of the reason why I was just like, okay, cool. You want to let me go? Fine, deuces, right? Um, but those kinds of comments and the shit that I had to deal with were really beginning to weigh on the person that I built myself to be. So everything that you guys see of me, I've worked hard to get to this point, right? And so for somebody I don't know who has not invested in me, has shown me that they really don't see any value in me, right? To come in and try to change me is very difficult for people to do. Okay. I change when I see a need for change. When I see that there's a bunch of bullshit, I ain't changing because I can't trust you. I can't trust your outlook or your opinion. So again, God had something in the plans for me. Today I woke up as an accountant, as I should, because that's what the fuck I am. I'm not just like, I'm a tax specialist because I'm certified in tax, right? That is my certification, right? That is not all that I am. And even with tax, I wasn't given the option to grow in tax, even though I enjoy what I do. So I'm not, not to make the story short, like I'm really excited. We'll see what it has to offer, right? I'm nervous because I'm like, oh crap, this is a real deal, like firm. Obviously my kiddo, I've have to change things around for her. They said in about 1 or 2 years, I will be able to like really manipulate my schedule to be there for her. I don't like that. That part is really bugging me just because I'm so used to spending time like my kid. And I want you guys to know our relationship has grown so much stronger. And I know that the situation will be spun at her dad's, meaning that, oh, she can't come pick you up and did it. And it's like, no, bro, I changed jobs, right? So this was coming. It's not something that I gave them a heads up about because they didn't need to know my business. That's number one. But when that situation occurs, obviously different jobs have different rules. And this job has that rule where I'm there from 8 to 5. And so that's fine, I guess. That's cool. But obviously that means that my time looks different, right? So I'll take it. Like I said, right now, I'm not a beggar. I did have plenty of people reaching out to me for a position. But I like the fact, I feel like the reason why I feel like everything was in sync is because I was on vacay on Monday, right? I determined that I no longer wanted to be in this position. So I was like, okay, let me start putting out resumes, whatever, to see what I can land. The owner of this company reached out to me Monday directly and was like, hey, I saw your resume. Let me get you in. Let me see if you're interested. Sure enough, that was cool. And I was able, I reached out to them and was like, yeah, I'm confirming my interest. And then sure enough, a lady contacted me like not even 10 minutes later, like, hey, can you come in for an interview? So the owner already knew what I was doing with my life, kind of where I was going, all of that. So he chose me. Then I get in and the guy's talking about, hey, this is what happened to me. This is how I got into this industry. Really can identify. I told you guys, I never told him anything about my success. And you guys bear with me if you hear stuff in the background. It's because I'm getting ready for work for the first day, obviously. I'm assuming today is just like training, me getting to meet everybody, stuff like that. So that part's cool. Um, but just being given the chance, because the conversation was, hey, I understand kind of essentially what I was going through. Hang on. Okay, sorry, y'all. So the fact that I'm being given an opportunity to really display my skill sets, make some extra cash. Like I said, it is a promotion. This job did come with a promotion. So how I always see situations like this is it's God, kind of like stepping in and doing what's right. It's almost like, and one thing I want to say about this, guys, something I'm realizing is that even if you have to do your certification stuff on your own, um it is important that you continue to do that, right? Because even though the company I was working for stated to me, like they felt like I mean, apparently felt that I wasn't valuable enough, you know what I mean, to really see me promote me. They fired me right before that conversation was going to happen. That's what's interesting about that. They didn't see my value, right? Um, and they didn't promote me. I remember when we talked about it, they were like, no, we'll have to discuss promotion. That's why they didn't want to have that conversation, at the time of my year review or whatever that was supposedly. It makes sense. But because I still said, you know what, fuck this. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm going to get my certifications regardless, which I did. I became a pro advisor on QuickBooks. And I think the owner was a bit upset that I was working towards my own business instead of, like, again, I was focused on his work, but I would do his work. And when I had downtime, I would go and focus on my certifications, right? But I can do that stuff through my own business to where he can't take it from me. Like he has no control over that. And that's what I was doing. And I think a part of him was upset that I was pushing myself forward because he wasn't, you know? So I believe that if it wasn't for the certification that I got, I probably wouldn't be in the position I am in now because I don't have necessarily a resume that says, hey, look, you can do this job very well, right? So I'm glad that I did that. And I will say that anytime you're in a position where a company, you're not growing, and you feel like your growth is stagnated on purpose, continue to build yourself, where one person may not see your value, another company will, right? And this is essentially what, the outcome of something like that. I was looking for a job while I had a job, right? I don't know if that makes a difference, but obviously the timing of me getting this job was spot on. So we'll see, you guys. We'll see how it goes. You guys wish me luck today. I am praying that this is what I need to keep going, like in terms of my career. It's going to be a good fit for me. So you guys let me know what you think down in the comments below. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.